Last week on the Bar 1 Manhunt, somewhere near Neisner, 9 men were still in the hunt and the competition to stay in the game was becoming tense.
Guys like Smith, Tibbs, and H. Those guys, they're not really pulling their weight. I don't know what's happening. I don't even know the reason why they're still here. Because for me, I don't find any competition in them.
Bar 1 man! For their solo trial, the guys had to cut through 3 logs using a chainsaw, a handsaw, and an axe. With a show of brute force, Johannes chopped his way into first place, leaving Jonathan to settle for second.
I hate coming second. I like to win. I am that competitive.
In the squad trial, the guys had to use both brain and brawn in an adaptation of the game Towers of Hanoi. The men had to muscle heavy blocks from one end of the game to the other in a specific order. Johannes uyawana futhi ukuthatha squad boost in the form of the odd man out.
As squad captain, I really think Johannes was supposed to take that squad boost because we really needed that minutes and H is tall. I really think Johannes is playing a solo game here.
And the Black Squad won! Nizwela Bafwe the Black Squad won, sending Johannes' team to the judgment. At the judgment, the conversation quickly turned to who deserved to stay in the game based on merit. Having never won a solo trial, Smith quickly became the convenient scapegoat in a unanimous vote that saw him become the 8th man to be voted out of the Bar 1 Manhunt. Sakusela amadoda awu-8, awuthi sibone kuzoyenzakalani.
It's just nothing we can do.
Emva kwe-judgment, amadoda sewaqalile ngamaqhinga amasha.
So tell us what happened.
Guys, we were in a judgment. We had to vote one of our guys out. It wasn't an easy one, but our votes were mainly based on his performance. I mean, personally, for me, he hasn't shown me exactly what he's made of as a competitor.
He said he didn't want to show his colors because he thought if he showed his colors that he's strong, he'll be voted out. So but he never even come close to say, this is me.
But it doesn't mean, if you're a strong competitor that we're going to vote you out. I think now it is if you're a weak competitor, then, you get voted off. So.
And Hauser said something very significant. He said, you guys were 16, and at this current time you are 8. The game has changed, you are half. Every minute you've got, you need to make it count.
The men's camp is close to the beach, and it's never too early for a game of touch rugby ahead of fresh challenges.
Sleeping without Smith in our tent was pretty sad. He's been Q&I's tent mate since Outward, since the second leg, and there's just a lot of things he taught us, and just how to arrange our sleeping bags, where our tent should be.
I need to win today's solo trial because I know guys are out for me as well. H and myself, out of the 8 guys that are remaining, H and myself are the 2 guys that have never won captaincy.
Go, Bongs! A Bar one man is a busy man, and akanasi isikhathi to do one thing at a time. So today's solo trial will test the men's multitasking skills as they shoot some hoops in kayaks. Morning, gents. Welcome to the solo trial. Isendele indlela bafowethu, but you've certainly come a long way. Is anybody ready to call it quits? Jono?
Nah, so I don't think I'm ready to call it quits, eh? I think I'm on my reserve tank. I'm just sucking it dry.
Johannes, is it about the game more than the money?
For me, I'll say it's about both. The prize and the game. Firstly, I want to prove myself that I'm strong by competing against this man here. And the other thing, I want to win the prize to change my life and change the lives of other people where I come from.
Well, there are 8 of you left, and the hunt continues. Here's the brief on today's solo trial. Each of you will get a kayak and paddle across the river. And when you get to the other side of the river, you will find 3 balls which you must put inside a net. You will then attach that net to the tail of your kayak and move up the river until you get to a hoop with your name on it. The challenge will be to lob the ball through the hoop while keeping a balance in your kayak. The first 2 men to lob a single ball through their hoop will go on to win captaincy and secure amnesty for themselves at the judgment. And if you lob the ball through someone else's hoop by accident, that person could win. Gentlemen, the name of this challenge is called Double Trouble. Are you ready to play the game? Yes. Asbange.
I think it's gonna go on how well you paddle, and if you can keep continuity. Well, that is also if we don't fall off the kayak first.
It's an open game. I'm just going to do my best and push to come out first or second.
I have no paddling skills, honestly. I've never done this before.
Okay, gents, are you ready to play Double Trouble? Yeah! Bar one man, go! The men are racing to the water's edge. No one wants to get caught up in the mess of a kayak traffic jam. It looks as though some of the men have kayaked before. Kodwa abanye babo, ay, ngathi bahlangane nento eblind. Jono has got off to a terrible start.
To date, I still haven't won any captaincy or a solo trial. So I win this one, at least I'd be safe, because the last couple of guys that have been voted out is primarily because they've never won any captaincy.
Bongs is still in the lead. Kodwa uTebza ngathi uzombamba.
I start paddling, I find myself second last with H next to me. Well, we're both lost, I guess.
The front runners are paddling downstream to the other side of the river, Ugyolanda Mabona.
But then I find that everyone's bunching and everybody's kayak is bumping into the next man's. But now Jono comes straight across, perpendicular to my kayak, and slap bang in the middle of his kayak goes mine. And I'm like, what the hell, Johnny?
I'm more like a headhunter. I want to go for the first place. If I can't get the first place, I'm going to push for the second place.
Will the scuffle between Q and Jono affect their placement? The leaders have arrived at the other side of the river. Nangu mfana umZulu Bongs, who is the first to collect amabhola wakhe. Most of the men have arrived at the other side of the river and are collecting their basketballs, which they must float back in order to shoot a hoop.
There was a lot of confusion with guys not knowing which are their kayaks or which one are their oars to row. So there were guys that swapped boats, who took the closest to boats were in the water.
Jonathan put his boat on top of my balls. The stick is gone. I have to go and fetch the stick furthest to where my boat is. So the other guys came and took my stick.
When we left there after picking up the balls, I was on third place. Johannes at the front and Debs are second.
When I left the beach, I wasn't in too much of a bad position. I think I was first.
I need that amnesty to stay in the game. Jump back into my kayak, started paddling. Once again, I find myself behind.
Not too sure as to who's in the lead at this point. So who will it be? This might have seemed way too easy for the men in the beginning, but the challenge is proving to be a rather difficult one as the men race and pace, heading towards the hoops.
I'm seeing the buoy, the cone is right there in front of me, but no one's going straight there. And I'm like, okay, there's my chance to gain on these guys.
I started tiring out. The current was moving, was pushing us backwards.
The men are now paddling against the current, and their stamina and physical endurance are beginning to play a role. Udebza has lost his first place to Bongs, and Q is making up for lost time, with Jono still way at the back. Will he catch up? Will Bongs get that ball through the hoop and win captaincy?
I don't know, I just started pedaling faster and boom, I got here first.
UBongs ke indoda yokuqala yokufika kuma-hoop.
Q has made it in second place, and he's also pedaling as fast as he can. So we have two men who have made it to their final destination. Will Bongs and Q be the two men to first lob the ball through the hoop? We shall see. And he misses the first one. So who will it be to sink the ball through the hoop? And Bongs takes his chance, and he sinks the ball, which makes him the winner of the solo trial. Bongs wins the solo trial. And let's see who's the runner-up. At this point, it looks like Umangoba has his last ball to shoot. Will he miss? The question remains. Let's see as he takes his chance. And puts the ball through the hoop, which makes him the runner-up. So now we officially have our two captains who have won amnesty at the judgment. Well done to Bongs and Q. Come, gentlemen, come join me in my island.
I saw that I've only got 2 trials to my name, and I had to get more, as many as I can.
I don't think anyone actually thought of me as a threat.
We have our two winners. Congratulations to Ubongs and Q.
Today I've seen it like, okay, that captaincy is slipping away from me. But you know, as a competitor, you know, you win some, you lose some.
Stay tuned for the opportunity to win great viewers' prizes by answering a simple question about today's episode a bit later.
Well done, gents. Firstly, let's congratulate the two winners, Ubongs and Q. Congratulations, guys. Jono, number last.
Hey,
Clearly, this is not your sport.
definitely not my sport. You know, if it was anything with a more shaped ball, then we probably, you know, would have been a different thing. I just couldn't get my rhythm, not at all.
Debzangwana,
It's
Ash, Nchamme, close but not close enough.
sure.
Still, you haven't won captaincy, man. How does that make you feel?
I feel a bit, I feel bad, obviously, because I thought I had this one. Because I led for most of it, but when this man came past me, he left me like I was standing still.
Ngobs, uzohlala usile. Your life depended on that last ball, man.
Felt a little bit like wheelchair basketball there, but I got it into the hoop.
Bongs, the man of the moment. I shine to Yakuba. Have you done this before?
No, Hauser. To be honestly, I haven't. You always see it on TV, and you fancy the guys. And today it was my opportunity to actually prove to myself if I can do it or not. Yeah.
Congratulations once again to Bongs and Q. You guys will now be the captains in the squad trial, and you've secured amnesty for yourselves at the judgment. So, gentlemen, go rest and think about the squad trial for later on.
So it gives gents the statement that I deserve to be in the game, and I've proven my worth to be the main contender for the bar one-man title.
How they're going to perceive it, I'm not sure, and I couldn't care less right now. It's all about me pushing forward and actually making it to another week.
Back at camp,
Yeah, I think it's going to start becoming ugly now because the guys are working as friends now.
Everybody's talking merit, but behind the scenes, it's these guys have a different idea of who they feel should be leaving.
Now is the time, where you actually have to think about yourself.
Most of the guys right now, they want Johannes gone because they feel like he's sort of like a powerhouse. And he's basically been winning everything, and if we don't get him now, since he didn't win this week individual trial, then that means next week we won't have an opportunity to actually take him out.
If you don't have anything to show, then maybe you're not worth being here anymore.
It's just playing the game smart. Like I've played it since the beginning. If I keep positioning myself well and just keep doing enough to get ahead, I don't see why I wouldn't be in the top 6.
A Bowen man is someone you can always depend on for help when in trouble. And today the men will be put to the test in a mock rescue situation here at the Tsitsikamma Falls Adventures. Machimbos.
Sure, Hauser.
Welcome to the squad trial. Some of you got a little wet at the solo trial, but prepare to get completely soaked in a scenario that will require teamwork, clear communication, and no fear of heights. And that's all you are getting from me for now. Squad captains, let's pick the teams, shall we? Starting with you, Bongs, as the winner of the solo trial, you will captain the red squad. Sondela Wabuzo Malai Qilingwam on the red mat. Taku,
Hola, Hauser.
you were the runner-up, my man, so you will be captain of the black squad. Sondela Uzomala on the black mat. And you need to take into consideration what I've just mentioned. Those elements, teamwork, clear communication, no fear of heights. Make your first selection.
I'll go for James.
James is in the red squad. Q,
Hola, Hauser.
your turn to make a pick, my man.
I think I'll go with Debs.
Tibbs on one.
Hola.
Okay.
Sure, Debs. It's Bongs' turn to make a selection. I was hoping that he doesn't select H because I was eyeing them since it is an adrenaline game, this one.
I'll take Johnny.
Jono is in the red squad and he's dressed for it. Q, 3 men left to choose from. Choose carefully.
H.
Okay. H is now in the black squad. 2 men left to pick from. Who do you choose? Between Zweli, not Johannes.
I'll take Johannes.
Johannes. So Johannes is in the red squad.
I knew he was not a good swimmer when I selected him, but then I was relying on the part of his strength, meaning the guy is really powerful. And I knew that I was going to need him at some stage.
Zweli, so automatically you will then join the black squad, Baba. Ungasondela mhlekazi. Okay, so here's the brief on today's squad trial, which is called Rough Water Rescue. The squads will have to retrieve someone floating in the ice-cold mountain river. The only way down from the top of the hill is to rappel 50 meters straight into the freezing water. Once the whole squad is in the river, they will then swim to the person, which in this case will be a dummy. To get your dummies back to safety, the squads will have to swim and carry it upstream, and finally over 2 waterfalls using cargo nets which will be put in place. The first squad to safely bring back the dummy to the squad mat will win and is safe for another week. The losing squad will go to the judgment and vote someone out of the Bar 1 manhunt. Let's talk about the squad boost. And I think I heard Bongs ati it's not going to happen. But you never know. In this case, you will have the opportunity as the captain of the red squad to forfeit your amnesty for a squad boost, which will be a 30-second head start. And you never know, it could be a significant lead to make you win this trial and stay away from my ugly face at the judgment.
30 seconds.
The victory, think about what you stand to lose, think about it.
Nah, this is not a team thing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not putting your thing on the fire, but I feel like I've saved the guys before, and the guys that came after that, they didn't seem to want to save anyone or to boost their team. So I think I'll hang on to mine as well.
Gentlemen, are you ready for this squad trial?
Yeah.
You don't sound convinced. Are you scared of heights?
Nah.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm in it to win it. Bongs is in it to win it. So yeah, we're going all out.
Okay, gents, are you ready to play Rough Water Rescue? Yes! Bar 1 man, go!
The 2 team captains volunteered to go down first.
I'm not really afraid of heights, but then I'm a bit, should I say, uncomfortable.
After rappelling 50 meters to the bottom, amadoda mina angena emanzini abande enye into ethusayo.
There was no strategy. I knew that I have the best team around me, so either way, if I push them hard, definitely we're gonna win. I wanted to go first probably because I'm a best swimmer.
The game plan with the black team was that the strongest swimmer would go first, and then the rest of us would meet him by the ropes.
I myself wasn't too sure of my swimming skills, but I had to take the plunge, literally, because I am the squad captain.
Both squads have 2 men emanzini. The dummies have been retrieved and they're making their way to the first waterfall.
When I heard Hauser mention adrenaline, and he did mention heights, I'm not really scared of heights anyways. And adrenaline is kind of like my thing.
It became a bit difficult. I had to go lean a little bit and leave Hilkia with the dummy itself. He was also struggling a little bit.
I think at that point, everyone was just first trying to adjust to coming to terms with the temperature of the water.
Hey, ngathi uzwele uhamba kancane, sizani bo?
The suit, heavy. I never swam with a suit before.
Nangu-ke u-team captain Q ezomsiza uZweli. reaches Zweli just in time.
I couldn't breathe. The suit was too heavy to... You can't swim freestyle on a suit. It was just dragging you down.
Each and every one of us, at some stage, we've actually came across something that actually we're a bit uneasy with, that we actually have to conquer our fears.
The last member of each squad reached the water. Now, can the black squad make up for lost time after Zweli's incident?
It was, I mean, that first part, getting that cargo net was very rough because you need to have, obviously you have your strongest hand on holding the board up with a dummy, and then obviously you need to control yourself and also climb with your left hand.
Climbing up the net, yeah. No batala strength, so I help the guys get strength saga or
Both squads must drag their rescue dummies to the top of the waterfall. Teamwork is critical.
The angle that we were climbing on was a bit steeper almost, so to say, than the one on the right. So it was very difficult because what happened was that we needed to actually move in to the far right where the red team was.
The rock pools at the top of the waterfall are very slippery and must be treated with respect.
To be honest, I've never swum before, but today I had to.
Zweli lagged behind quite a bit, and he was struggling with the breathing as well.
There was a lot of factors. I mean, you had to swim basically, you had to climb, you're using strength, you're using your stamina obviously, and you just need to keep to it.
It was quite an uphill battle because even one of our straps came off the dummy, and our dummy was just hanging by one strap, making it more heavier.
At the second waterfall, the point man of each squad must climb up to assist with hoisting the rescued dummy.
The guys were just standing there falling. I decided let me get up on top and get the rope because they're waiting who's going to go up. They're all tired.
And we pulled it up, yeah, but I mean by then the red team were well ahead.
Now it's a race to the top of the hill with the red squad still in the lead. Will this allow the black squad to catch up?
Okay, I can see the red squad, which means they are in the lead. If they make it onto the squad mat with their dummy, they will win this trial. The red squad has won the rough water rescue. Well done, gentlemen. Well done, gentlemen. And the red squad has won the squad trial. Congratulations, gents. How do you feel? Mr. Captain. How do you feel, man?
I'm very happy, Hauser. It wasn't an easy one, but we really pushed hard, and that's why we're here first.
Yeah. Black squad, unfortunately you didn't make it on time. The red squad got here before you, which means you guys are the losers. Ngobs, nangendlela nize ngayo ngathi lo muntu lo beniyomnqwaba nje. Akahambanga kahle baba, what happened?
Oh yeah, the swim was a little bit more hectic than we anticipated. Slowed the team down a little bit, and unfortunately you couldn't catch up to the red team.
Well, unfortunately for you guys, this only means one thing. I will see you guys a bit later on at the judgment where someone will be voted out of the Bar 1 Manhunt. Gentlemen, you can go get some rest. Zonbon.
It was hard for me because I was pushing myself to show them I'm working hard. But I know tonight I'm going home. We lost, I know I'm going home tonight. That's all I can say.
I'm very disappointed that I have to take my squad to the judgment. I didn't want to lose any of them, and that unfortunately has to happen now.
Perfect strokes. Perfect strokes.
Clear strokes.
Look at that.
Back at the camp, the blame game begins.
From now on, whoever's going home, it needs to be based on merit.
Obviously, the constitution right now, or the consensus of voting on merit, would only serve those who have won trials more.
Yeah, gents, I think we must give these guys time to think and, I don't know what, maybe talk about judgment and whatever.
So where do we stop with this thing of you know, pointing fingers at each other and saying, I've won this, I've won that?
I think some of the guys are being selfish and being greedy because, I mean, Mangoba wants to actually keep Debs in a game, even though he knows that he hasn't been performing very well. Obviously, when he says that, H is obviously going to vote with him. So I'm very concerned for Zweli because, I mean, he might be going home even though he's been performing very well.
To tell you the honest truth, I would just like to get into my tent and sleep.
I'd also like to sleep, man. But first we need to know what's going on.
Things will be different. Either me not being as involved with the group as I used to, or me being an outcast. It's either I die in the group or I die inside. So it's suicide either way.
It's going to be a very tough one. I'm glad I'm not part of them.
Gentlemen, welcome to the judgment. As the losing squad, one of you will be voted out of the Bar 1 Manhunt tonight. Each of you will cast a vote for the person you feel did not live up to the standard of a Bar 1 man. And at this point, Q is the squad captain with amnesty. However, he will have an opportunity to give it up to someone else before we start voting if he wishes. Once the voting is done, all will be revealed, and the person with the highest amount of votes will be asked to relinquish his Bar 1 man expedition watch and to leave the game immediately. Yavagal. Hey Tara. Q, let's talk about the game plan Yafandag for today's squad trial. What was your plan first of all, and just give me an overview what to wins again.
Okay, so obviously we had to get i-outekwaziyo ukuswima.
Sure.
Fandiwan ukuthi iqhumukele la first man, yabona. And initially Umzwecha had said he'd done something similar in his training, you know, and I assumed, okay, uzoba grand guy. But after a while, he seemed a little uneasy. And as the squad captain, I took it upon myself ukuthi kube yimengwelada. Yabona. And then H was to follow me, and then after that again Uzweli, and then with Debs Angene last. And the plan was that I get the dummy close to the net, and then everyone just follows me there. And mangene mavatini da, yes, stamina sam savele saphela nje halfway. But at the same time, we weren't behind. You know, we lagged a bit. Obviously, amachita no panic emavatini. Akusinto esijwayele right then, yabona. So yeah, we lacked a bit because of Peniko Amachita, Sakwelinet, Sabakrand. The plan was actually executed fairly decently.
Okay. Would you say then maybe your selection cost you dearly today?
Well, I can say if I knew that there was that amount of swimming that was going to be required, I would have made my selection, I would have selected at least one player who was a much better swimmer than I am, because Bongs obvious
Zwecha, do you feel ukuthi mhlambe you've failed the team somehow with your efforts, your lack of efforts?
I won't say I failed the team. I tried hard, I worked hard. It was just maybe one of those uncomfortable challenges for you.
But now, excuses aside, at the end of the day, you guys lost and you're at the judgment. Debzangwan, what are the strengths and the weaknesses in this team?
Maybe Uzweni is not as comfortable in the water as he might think he is.
Okay.
And for Q, maybe his stamina is not as on point as it should be. And myself, maybe just being too clumsy and having slipped when I did. That's why Uzweni had to quickly come cover up, just being sluggish, I guess. And I think stamina as well for age, because we did fall behind, primarily because we were all tired, laughing and puffing in the water. Yeah.
Now, you know, when I go back and think about the solo trial, you know, you were so close to winning that captaincy, man, and I could see how disappointed you were. At this point in the game, how important is it to win captaincy? Because I've seen people go in the past couple of weeks based on that. Would you feel, Mhlambe, your head is on the block tonight?
Of course, I feel my head is on the block, Hauser. Primarily because now we are down to 8 guys that are left in the competition. And of the 8 guys, 6 of the guys have won captaincy before. Myself and Age are the only 2 guys who haven't. And looking back into the last few judgments, Oz was one of the guys to leave, based on the fact that he has never won captaincy. Smith has left because he had never won captaincy either.
Sure.
And Scott as well. So yes, coming to this judgment today, I feel if I had captaincy, I'd maybe be safe, just have my head above the water. So I'm actually scared being here right now.
H, now Chaiva kancane. How do you feel ukuthi the gentlemen should judge tonight? Should it be based on winning captaincy, or should they consider other elements?
So it's difficult, and I mean, we have been talking about it, and obviously some people will obviously push merit forward because it suits them. You understand? I was actually making a point earlier, like to some of the guys, and I was saying, so basically you could win one captaincy and just do bad in the rest of on all the races that we've had, the trials that we've had, and still be safe. And then you'd find a guy like me that had a slow start at the beginning, but I've been doing top 5, top 4, top 3 since, I think, the Tango. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm giving solid performances. I've been better than a few guys that have won captaincy. But for as long as you're not there and you don't have that power, it becomes easy for the next person who is in that position to just say, you know, merit.
Daku, is it about merit? And what is your definition of merit? Is it about winning captaincy? Does that keep you in the game?
The definition of merit is very vague, because it seems as though to those whom it suits, it's about captaincy. How many times have you won solo trials? And Smith had mentioned as well that, like, I mean, you perform in a solo trial, yes, you win, but then you lax in a squad trial because you're safe, and your squad loses. And you've won 5 solo trials, but lost 4 squad trials as a captain. So does that mean your merit still stays above water, or does it cancel it out, you know?
H, let's talk about what you stand to gain if you win. How would that change your life?
For me, personally, the process of my life changing has already begun. With all the challenges we've gone through in this game, with the type of people I've met. And I think obviously winning would just add on to that. And having the prizes would be a cherry on the cake. But from what I've experienced thus far, there's a lot of changes personally that I will make once I'm at home.
Zwetsha, same question. Ungasho ukuthi kuyoba nenguquko empilweni yakho, and in what way? If you win.
Hauser, yes, if I win, there will be a big change in me. I mean, the competition has taught me lots of things. But I mean, if I get out there, there are a lot of things I need to change in myself, people around me, where I come from. I also come from a bad background. My background was not good. I was not known. I was nobody. So there are lots of change I'll make also.
Debza, how would the victory change your life?
Hauser, first of all, it would change mine and obviously change my family's a lot. I think primarily the reason why I came here to do it is because there were certain changes that I needed to see in my family first, and which this, like the guys have been saying, it's a lump sum, which would obviously help that quite a bit, cover that relatively, quite a large portion of that. And for starters, once my family life, those people that I want to see their lives change have changed, then obviously mine will take some sort of a change as well.
Okay, before we start voting, Q, obviously you are the squad captain with Amnesty, and you now have an opportunity to decide whether you're going to hold on to it or you're going to give it up to someone else whom you feel is deserving. What's your call?
Yo, Hauser, I feel like without this amnesty, I'm as vulnerable as any man sitting here, so I'll hold on to it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, gentlemen, the time to vote has arrived. Under you, you will find a board where you must write down the name of the person you feel is not fit enough to stay on the Bar 1 Manhunt. You may begin.
How will the men vote? Will it be dictated by ubungani or merit?
Debs, Antoine.
Okay, gents, I trust you've made your judgment and you are content. Let's see who you have voted out of the Bar 1 Manhunt tonight. Starting with you, squad captain, Mr. Q. Votela bani and explain why you have voted for that person.
I've made the worst vote I've had to make since I came here. I'm voting for Debza. My back's against the wall. Everyone is saying we must vote on merit, and I feel as though if I don't follow suit, I'll be next.
So now we have one vote for Debza. Debza, who do you think should be voted off the hunt tonight?
I've voted Zwe.
Okay. Why?
Like I said, I was going to base it on today's task. He's a failure to deliver in terms of the swimming, him struggling, and at some stage taking a rest on the rock.
So now we have one vote for Debza and one vote for Zweli. Zwetsha Sizaguwe Mhlegazi, who have you voted off the hunt and why?
I voted Debza. I feel like for being a Bar 1 man, you need to perform all the time. You don't need to come to excuses. As I said yesterday, you can see he was disappointed because he was there. What are people that were almost there from the start? They're always from the start. I mean, that's honest. Even when it comes to me, I never put an excuse that I was almost there.
So now we have two votes for Debza and one vote for Zwetsha. If Zweli gets the next vote, we could have a possible tie for the first time in the competition. If Debza gets the next vote, he will be voted out of the Bar 1 Manhunt tonight. H, it's now in your hands, my brother.
I sit here again from voting off a close friend last week. I voted for Tebza.
Okay, we have 3 votes against you, Tebza. That's enough. Please step forward and submit your watch.
No, it's finished. No, it's finished.
Tebza Ngwana,
It's all.
you have been judged by your squad. The 25-hour day is now over.
For sure.
Good luck, my brother.
The plan obviously didn't work. The guys, I actually thought that the guys were actually reading the game like how I was reading it. The guys that were calling the shots will continue to, and whoever they feel should go next will probably go.
Okay, gents, all has been revealed at the judgment. H, at this point, you are the last person without captaincy.
If I could do it all over again, I would have pushed harder when I needed to, because then today I'd be sitting here with 3 or 4 captaincies and I wouldn't have to worry about a single thing.
Gentlemen, it's been a long 25-hour day. Go rest. I will see you at the next solo trial.
There's no one in particular I'm rooting for now, because all the guys that I was in favor with have been voted off. So whoever wins now, I'm not going to be bitter. You know, they would have played the game well.